Good evening and welcome to Sunday Night Stamping with Sandra. So today I have been, kind of chilling. I've done some gardening, so I'm catching up on some chores, and I did have a little bit of crafting in here, and I'm just going to share with you at the end. I'm going to share with you some scrapbook pages because I was going to try and do once a month, so that'd probably be the last one in the month, but because I was away, I couldn't do that last Sunday. So we're going to look at a couple of my pages that I did for a challenge recently that I think you might like. So we'll take a look at those at the end. But I thought for my project tonight, I'm going to share with you, and I will put the link in into the video description as well, from a fellow demo that I picked up. She has done a free tutorial. So I've got the details here, but I will put the link in for you. Hi, Sue, because I think you're going to be interested in a really good tactic for doing some simple layouts. So I want to share those with you because it's hot off the press that I've just seen recently. So I'm going to do another Christmas one because I've got all Christmas out, trying to pick which designer series paper to use. So we'll do a bit of a wing it, but a bit of a plan. Okay, so let me get you down onto the table. So let's just move that one, and that one. Even that one, and that one. Even the right way around might help. Oh dear. That one, and that one. There we go. And we're ready. Okay, so the papers, remember, I used last time. Really love those ones. Hi Anne, lovely to see you. You're over on YouTube, aren't you? So I had, at the weekend, I had a class, in the weekend, where are we? Thursday. I had 3 ladies here doing my lovely bottle frame. If any of you have seen that in my studio or out on events, then you'll have seen that before. A really nice challenge, but some of the products retired, so I gave them freelance on the new products. So they did use some of these papers. So these are in the upcoming catalogue that launches on the 6th. I can't show you the inside, so I'm going to have to move that off the table and just go to the back here. All will be revealed very soon. So these papers are just some of the ones from the Joy of Christmas. Now I can show you the stamp sets because I have those in my possession, just like I have the stamp sets, the papers. So that is all in my possession. So you can just see the top of the paper there. Just remove that. Okie doke. I won't get into trouble for that a little bit. So Joy of Sharing is a DSP. Okay, really nice Christmassy colours. I'm going to get that out of the way. I have those all beside me. So we're going to be doing a little adaptation of a simple layout, and then go back to these ones that I used on Wednesday. Okay, if I get an envelope out of the packet and in front of me here, just outside of the camera, I might not forget to do the envelope tonight. Too many times I forget. So I have a plan. So I'm going to get those out because they're just too tiny. So we're going to need a basic size card. So depending on which papers we use here, it's nice to do the front and the back if we have one that would match. But we can intermingle these as well. So we have browns on the back of that one. I love music notes, but I kind of like this one on here. So I don't really want brown with those two. So we're going to mix and match. So I love these berries, but if I have a 1 and 1 in the centre, I think we will use those two. Check is a good Christmas one as well. So we could have check with that, couldn't we? Sorry, you've got shadows in here again. I am going to buy some standalone desk lights, but just haven't got round to vetting them yet to see which one I want to use. So I've either got the checks or we've got the berries, the sort of like the textured looking one. I think I'm going to go with that one. I haven't used that one yet. Obviously, that's why I've got it left over. So we're going to cut this down to a panel to sit on side of, sit on side of a card front. Now, I couldn't find my trimmer earlier, and then I located it and didn't move it. So let's just bring them over. There we go. Now, one of my lovely sizes that I love to use is 4.5 by 3. Now, for the designer series paper, it's really handy because you're going to take off 1.5 off one side. Now, this is the music note, so if I'm going to use that as a panel, I want to cut this piece off. So normally it wouldn't really matter, but on a 6-inch piece, I would say to look at the back and consider how you will use the piece on the back. So that's my 4.5 piece there left with 1.5 strip. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it this way, and this is 6 inches, so I'm going to cut this at 3. Okie doke. Now I'm just going to put those aside for now, bring this one back. I'm just looking for a punch that I got out. I think that might work. Okay, so this one is now 1.5, so I want this to be 3/4 of an inch. So if I go in the middle here, I can see exactly where it's going to lie, and I've got the bottom ends on here, so I can just check it nice and evenly there. So go 3/4 and 3/4, very gently bring this down so I don't move it. Okay, and cut that in half. Now we're going to need one of those on each piece of your card, and they do suggest to turn these over, but we're not going to use that today. So I'm going to now do exactly the same with this one. Okay, and again the music note. So I'm going to take the 1.5 off this side. Now, if you're clever and you do 3/4 of an inch, those 2 strips I've just cut, you can actually do 3/4. Okay, that's 1 strip, and then 3. Oh, that was my trimmer blade just come out. Let's just see. I've got another one over here. No, that was the scoring blade come out. So 3/4 of an inch. Sorry, I got distracted there. And 3/4 of an inch again. Okay, and cut that. That is 3/4 and 3/4 is our 1.5. So we have 2 pieces there and 2 pieces of music again. Okay, we're going to turn this one round and do 3. Okay, just in there like so. Take that in half. So you now have 2 pieces of that one and 2 pieces of this one. So if I just bring one of each of those along, discard the rest, and put this to one side for a moment. Okay, I am going to need to get that scoring blade back. It's just fallen underneath the table. If I grab a ruler and try and reach it. Little tiny pieces, hey? Kind of quite invaluable, really. We just slot that back in and we're fine. So I'm going to use a thick white because we've got a busy paper. I'm going to cut a sheet of basic white, with thick white, in half. And this is going to be a long card, so I'm going to score it this way at 14.85. Out of the way, score it there, and then turn it and cut at 10.5. So I've done inches and centimetres. The only reason that is because the paper starts at 6 inches. If you start getting points of centimetres, it's not so easy to line up. I have a very inky end on this bone folder, so I won't keep it in sight very long. So how is everybody? So Helen, you've had family visiting, haven't you? I know. You've had a lovely time up in Scotland. And those who weren't with me on Wednesday, I had a very, very nice time in Vegas. Really, really good. I'm going to keep one of these out. And just for now, I'm going to keep 1 and 1. Pop those back on the chair. Okay. So this 4.5 by 3 piece is a size that will work well, whether it's on note card size or full size card. Hi Pam, hi Linda. I did have a weekend off. I deliberately tried to keep the weekend free, just to catch my breath really. It's been quite a full-on time, as you can imagine. Now, just because, I'm going to take one of these out and see what you think, whether this is going to be better. Okay, we could have that on there like so. These can be matted and layered, and it's entirely up to artistic licenses whether we do or not. But the reason we need a second one is because we're going to punch a circle out here, or die cut, whichever the case may be. I do have a Stylish Shapes dies here, and I'm going to use a size that I think would be good. So these Stylish Shapes did stay, didn't it? One of the dies disappeared. I don't think it's this one. Let me just check. I know I did have some. Yeah, Stylish Shapes is definitely still in the annual catalogue. Okay, all of those. So So that's good. So I do normally mark them if it's not sure whether it's gone or not. So I want to have 2 different size circles. So I could have this one. I could have that one. Okay, or I just could come a little bit smaller. And I'd like to have 2 matte layers, but I don't want to lose the designer series paper behind. I'm just wondering if that's going to be too big. I think it might. So I'm going to try those 2 circles, okay? It's just to turn it over and have a little bit of contrast. So pop those back on there. We do have some punches. There were some punches in the online exclusive that are still around. So I'm just thinking whether this is going to look nicer than that one. Making your gift boxes. Rhonda, you're in Poland. Oh, wow. Vegas was fabulous. You love the red. Okie doke. Last week's retiring Friday. What a fabulous feeling, Anne. Yeah, just cannot recommend it enough. Totally different. Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is just bring up the cutting machine. Okay. I still haven't done half the jobs I wanted to do. But hey, I did get out in some fresh air today, which was good for me. And we have to look after ourselves, don't we? So if I was to put a matte layer behind this, I would use the larger circle. Yeah, I'm going to change my mind, I think. I'm going to go to the next one. So that's going to be my matte layer. And then this is going to be my DSP layer. So they will go inside each other. That might be slightly big for me for a layer, but hey. So we're going to cut one of each of these colours. We're going to cut the designer series paper from the middle. It's entirely up to you. I kind of like to get the edge around the edge here. The 3 sides to be roughly the same. Okay, you can see that quite nice. So I'm going to run that one through. And then we're going to do one of the other colours as well, the other papers. Now, depending on what's on the back of your paper, you could simply just flip this. Okay, so if I get this knocked out, okay, you could just simply flip this over and have the notes on the front there. So that's one possibility. Because I'm a musician, I just have to have the notes facing the right way up. So that's one possibility, but I like these 2 papers. So I'm going to put the circles to one side. They will probably be useful on another design. But on this particular one, I'd like to have the Christmassy feel to it. By the way, there's 2 sheets of 2 papers in the annual cap in those papers. Sorry, excuse me. Bless me. Excuse me. Thankfully, I didn't come back with COVID. I know there's a few people said, obviously, when you get 750 demos plus staff together, there's bound to be something somewhere. But I am fortunate to say at the moment there are no symptoms. So I think if it was from that trip, it would have been out by now. So here are my 2 pieces, okay? And again, both of these are flipped over. They're going to be something else. So we won't use those for this one, okay? But we will use them on each other. Does that make sense? So instead of flipping them, we're going to have those 2 combinations. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see those. That's good. So we'll pop one on there and we'll pop one on here. Okay, so this is going to be used for my backing layer. If I'd like to put a matte layer behind these, this is like the 2 where they're overlapping for the check. I'm kind of thinking, do I want to use got the colours out for you. Do I want to use one of the greens? Now I think the green in there is more like the garden green, but we have got in that selection, we do have the evergreen as well. I think garden is going to be best suited. So I'm going to cut a strip off here, just wide enough to get that taken out. You just see that on the corner there. There we go. For those who asked before, just to update everybody else, we did, I had a rude awakening from David on the Monday morning to say that all of the air traffic is completely shut down. Now, obviously, the initial panic was looking like arriving back in the UK early hours of the morning with no trains running. But it did all turn out okay because long haul flights were seeming to take priority. So I did get in the house and to bed at 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. So that was a very, very long. I worked out actually I was awake for about 34 hours, I think. So yeah, it was a long day, very long couple of days. Now that would then sit on there and then go on there like so, or we could just use it in the holes. So I'm going to cut that one as well. So this was a layout that I learnt from Karen. She's Karen Titus. She's stamping on the back porch. If anybody follows Karen, so I'll give a shout out to her. It just seemed such a simple design, and when you're just online and something comes up to watch, you kind of just have to watch it, don't you? So I thought this is a really nice design. I'm sure you'll love for some Christmas cards. So take those two off and bring them down like that. So this is just giving that some backing. It doesn't have to, but you could have that like that on the checks on the crisscross, or you could have it on a layer behind like so to make it pop a little bit like so, or you could have it straight into the hole like that. Okay, so I've done one on a white. I think green would be too much for that, but I might like to actually put a little layer behind that. So if we had those layers at it was 4.5 inches, because it was 6 inches by 3. Okay, I'm just just under my photo, look, there we go, 4.5 by 3. If we want to put another 1/4 inch on that, we would then be looking at 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. So let me cut one of those in the green and see how we go. Put that one out. So we're going to go, move me, 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 this way. That wasn't my straight edge, that was the hand cut one. It's 4.5 by 3 1/4. There. There we go, and 4 3/4. You like the die set? Yeah, absolutely. It's a really nice one, and you'll see that I've been using it quite a bit. So that always kind of tells as to how popular something is, if I'm using it a lot. So this one is now just having that 1/4 inch around the outside there to take up some of the white space. I don't think this one necessarily needs it, so we'll leave that one alone for now. But we do have a matte layer under there if we like it. Maybe we put this one with the layer and that one on its own, perhaps. Okay, like so. So those strips that we cut are also very useful, because what Karen said was the strip you've cut off, if you then put a strip of paper through the back here, you could flip it, but brown isn't going to go. So we could actually have that through the middle there and trim off the ends, or again we could swap them. So we could swap that over, so we have that there. I would like to just back that with something, and we could have this one coming through here. So if we use the same as the inside piece, it gives that gap in between, if you get my drift. So like so. So because we're using green behind this one, and this one is red on red, I'm going to cut another strip of green. That will be the right size for that card. So that was 3/4 inch. So I don't really want it as big as that, so I'm going to go for, it was 3/4, so I'm actually going to go for another 1/8 inch on top of that. So that's actually 3 7/8. Okay, and see how we get on there. Take that out of the way. Got an itchy nose now, I sneezed. So we have that one there, or we could put white behind it. How do we think that will look, guys? And then how do you think that might look with white either side of it instead? You like the white on there? Got some thumbs up coming in there. So this one could be the red, couldn't it? So we'll just take this back again and cut a red piece. It's kind of all done with one piece of Designer Series paper, actually making, oh, look at that, that's not the right length. Cut another piece. I didn't get my real red scraps out today, so I'll have to cut this one. So it's, instead of 3/4 inch, which is 6/8, I'm going to go to 7/8. Okay, 7/8 on there as well. all the way down. Try not to slide it. Take that one away. We can trim this one down. So that is that enough for that strip there. So if I place that on there and cut that off, okay, I'll cut that off on the end there, and then that's a piece of scrap. So I'm going to get these down. So we stick this one. You think it should be white would be better on this one? Okay, I like this one because the background is white. I'm going to get this one stuck down, Sue, and then I will come back in with the white for this one. Put that one on there. There we go. Now guys, I do have some tweezers if anybody's looking for them. I normally send you on to where I got them from, because they're not the Stampin' Up ones. They are, I do love the ones that go with the, these are the ones that go with the embossing toolkit. And I love these for embossing because they hold the piece of paper, but they are reverse tweezers. Great for holding something while you're heating it, but not for me for picking things up. So I do have some of those that come in. Throw those in there. So these ones here I will be using in a sec. So I'm going to get this one down, get this one stuck down. So how I'm going to line this up in the middle is by measuring roughly either side of the line here. So our grid papers are available to customers. Okay, so if I line this up on a line that it's 10.5 centimeters and I've got 2 centimeters to take off, so I want down to 8.5, so I want 4.25 either side. Okay, so that 4.25 is going to bring that down. I'll mark a little pencil mark. Then I'm going to line it up on the grid paper, 4.25. That's my top line, and 4.25 is my top line. Okay, then we can line that up here. So we've got a notch there and a notch there. It is on my grid paper, so we can make sure that we've got that all nice and straight going across there, like so. So let's get that down. I don't know how the weather's been with you guys. David asked me if I wanted the fire lit in here today. Just working out which way I want that up. And I nearly went for it, and then I thought, you know what, it's quite warm in here. When clay lump gets cold, it's usually really cold. But I've gone without today, and I think it's good. Okay, so I like that banner through the middle. So there is virtually no waste apart from these little pieces. Okay, tiny little pieces, and that's because we're metric sizes. So that's all going to come together on there. And I'm going to grab a piece of white. I brought the whites as well. We're going to do this one again, 7/8. Ooh, we might have a length there ready. Not quite. So 7/8 of an inch. I'm going to have to take this one down because it's very thin. So 7/8, if we come that way, I've got more space to get hold of. So I use the numbers to the right of my trimmer. So I'm going to go to 7/8. Okay, and then 7/8 in the middle there. So I can keep it nice and tight there. Bring that down and then take that along there. Okay, and there's our piece. I'll sort that later. So this one is going to be in place of the green. Okay, so that is going to look really good. Let's just get that one down and I'll trim the end off like I did before. Beautiful in Scotland. Oh wow, that's really nice. You know what I've done? I've done that a little bit narrower. I think that's going to be okay. So let's just see that. It's just that little hint of white. Sue, I like your decision. That's really good because that's just going to break up that edge, isn't it? So we're going to get that one stuck down. I'm going to do the same with that. So 4.5 from each end. Just find a little anchor point that you can mark for 4.25, sorry, on there, and 4.25 on here, and then line that up with your grid paper so you know that it's lined up square at the top and that is on there and there. So you've just got a nice big area to go for those dark lines. That just keeps it nice and easy. Okay, and I stop at the end. So place that on there, just covering the pencil line, and on there, just covering that pencil line. And there we go, all nice and straight. There you go. I think we're in for some, yeah, autumn is definitely on its way. I think we're in for some, David was saying that the weather is going to be really hot at the weekend. So that's going to be interesting. So how's that one going to look on there, do you think? So get that one now in the middle. Now this is where, depending on your papers, you could just flip it over, okay? But you can interchange them. So you could make up several and then flip them over. Okay, so I think this one's going to go on flat because we're going to have these raised. You can just see those, can't you? There we go. I've got in the corner of that piece of white paper that's bugging me. There we go. So I'm going to put one this way on. Again, I'm just going to play this by eye because I've got the edges to line up to. Just there, like so. There we go. About the same edges all the way around the edge. Now this I'm going to put on pads onto here. It's just decoration, this one. It's not going to have any sentiment on there. The box is upside down. Some of those. And my tweezers again. There we go. Let's take a couple of, or a triangle of these I usually do on a circle. Take one, take two, take three. My bin has disappeared off the edge of there. So I'm going to place it on here with an even border. Okay, but then it's a case of, do I want it raised again? I think I do. I like the raised and raised. 1, 2, and 3. If you're not putting bulky ribbon bows or knots or things on there that's going to be bulky, 2 Stampin' Dimensionals generally will get through the post quite nicely. So it's not a big issue. So that's going to go in there like so. Now this is where my eyes wouldn't go slightly. You've either got straight up and down or you've got crisscross. So I'm going to go crisscross here. Okay, there we go. So that's one ready. And then this one, we're going to put the 2 layers together and then pull up that in the top. Okay, round there, round there. I'm all for nice layouts like this. I love picking up tips and tricks. So then I can share them with you guys. And I love my 6-inch papers, but also I have a layout. Seems to be a little bit, I think I've cut my green wrong. Yes, I've got the non-straight edge. Let me whip that off for a sec. This edge is not straight. So I'll get the little guillotine over here. It's a small piece. I've gone with the edge, but it wasn't straight. Okay, get that out of the way. Just hold that on there again. See if we can correct that. That's a better size. Definitely better. Okay, trimmer out of the way. As I lifted that, I've got a little bit of the green on there, but it won't matter because if I just pull that off. Okay. I've got a very sore finger, you can see by the side of my nail, a little hangnail there, and it's very sore. So it doesn't look very nice at the moment. So that again, the gap around the outside edge, just make sure that that's all nice and even. Luckily I caught that before it went down. Okay, and then this one will come down flat again. Wedding's Friday, so you've dressed up in full regalia. Oh no, that's not so good. It's good that it's not going to be raining, but it's not so good being hot and bothered in a posh frock, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to get this in the middle again. So around the edges, like so. There we go. Really nice, simple layout. Now this one I said I was going to put that back through the hole, didn't I? So let's just hold that. That's the berries facing upwards. So I'm just going to do this one slightly different. A little bit of Tombow on there and have those stems upright. Okay, so you've got one in and one on a layer. There we go. So those are 2 layouts. I think they are really, really good. I love them. And now just to decorate, really. So whatever you want to do to decorate them. I will straight away have a piece of strip here that I've got that we didn't use. And then I've got a piece of the green paper. So let me jump across and not forget to do my envelope for once. Decorate the envelopes. No naked envelopes. I normally remember when they're going out, but I don't remember to do it on lives. So those of you who are my customers, we have a Global Inspiration Stamp Team event next Friday and Saturday. If you're in the GIST group, then you will have notifications come up. I will be putting the graphic up tomorrow. Again, I don't think that strip was very straight. It's probably the other half of what I had to correct just now. So the top end is good. Just got to line this one up and get it straight. Taking a fraction of that off. Move that over. And I'm looking down here to make sure it's all nice and straight. And again, it's the other gnat's whisker off the edge there. Okay, so we have nice straight edges there now. That's good. So I will put this down here. If I take the end off, just to get the edges level, I've got a bit of surplus, so I can do that. Okay, and then we'll line this one up on the envelope, just down here, and then trim that end off. Of course, if you wanted to use a particular part of that with more red on it, then we could bring that up there. I like to kind of trim it down roughly to size before I do that though, because otherwise you'll be putting too much glue. It's not so much as saving that piece, just to save the glue going all over your surface. Okay, so we'll plump that one in the middle there, like that, just to decorate the envelope. I didn't check which way up it is, but that's going to be fine. There we go, no naked envelope tonight, that's good. So we'll chop that one off, and we'll chop that one off. There we go, like so. So we've got a good envelope there, nicely decorated. So now we have some sentiments to do, and we have some embellishments. Now, what would we like to see on there? I've got the 2 stamp sets that we had here. I'm just looking on the time, see how we're doing. The clock is still wrong. I did not get that corrected. So we're good. So I will be using this one coming up on another card, and some of the berries. I kind of like the Noel. I like a little bit of a decoration. Let's see what we've got in here in the dies. Okie doke. So these ones, faux pas already, because I have this hatred of leaving things in there as I use them. Okay, so I'll just poke that out because it caught my eye. There are some nice pieces in here. These are some, well, you were using these the other day. Let's lift that one off. Get that little piece of green out so it's not caught up again next time. So I've got this as a whole holly branch. And in this one, we've got some more ferny pieces. So I think I like, they do go both together. So I think I'm going to use the fern. And I'm going to use a sentiment out of the same one, perhaps. It's quite big greetings. So I don't want to have an awfully big greeting. I've got the Merry Christmas there. I think we'll do that. Okay. So Christmas is here. Well, it will be very soon, I'm sure. And then we've got the Merry, no wishes, Christmas wishes, Merry Christmas. There we go. Okay. So we're going to need some of the garden green. Some of these scraps here will do. I'm going to get those 2 onto blocks so that I don't lose them. Okay, there's one, and there's the second. Okay, so they're the sentiments I'm going to use, and then this one is just going to be die cut. So let's get these die cut first and see how they're going to work, because that will determine how we place our sentiment. You might deck the holes. That's the music on that music print. I haven't got a big enough piece to show you now. Let me just see. No, I think because I've cut them in, I've stuck them down. The Deck the Halls is actually on both of those brown prints that you can see. They are the Deck the Halls greeting. So being a musician, I can kind of like sound the notes and know that that is definitely it's been written correctly, if that makes sense. It's not just random notes, it's actually written correctly. Okay. And then that one. Guys, I said earlier about the relaxation. While I was away, oh, where did you go? There. My friend from America, she drove down, so she had her car there to help drive me and Emma around, and she took me to a Thai massage. And boy, if you've ever had hi Brenda, if you've ever had a Thai massage, boy, was that the deepest massage I have ever had. I did have to squirm a little bit, but that was really good. I walked out of there bolt upright. I wasn't twisted or bent or whatever. It was really, really good. And it wasn't silly expensive, I didn't think. So that was a really good session. Natalie's got some issues with her spine and neck and etc. And she goes regularly. And she found these as a new people to go to. And she took me as well. It's lovely, really, really lovely. I'm doing 2 of these because I don't like seeing just one piece on a card. So I'm going to take a second piece out of these. Okay, I'm taking them out of the middle because I might be able to use this on a card somewhere as a layer. You like the Deck the Halls as well? The only other thing I was thinking is it might be too long for the space I've now got available. We'll see what we can do. Just a sec. Pop that back on the floor. Push these out. So I've got 4 pieces. Just wriggle it and they will come out. There we go. So where's Deck the Hall? Deck the Halls. You see that? It isn't a die cut that would sit in that hole. It kind of, I feel it needs to be a longer greeting coming off there. So we will get to use that, don't worry, because it's one of the ones that's, yeah, I'm going to be using loads. Oops, a daisy. Sorry, tweezers. So my shadow is falling just in the wrong spot today. It's right overhead. So apologies for that. So these little ferny pieces are just gorgeous. Get rid of that and get rid of that. Okay, so we'll put a couple on each piece. We'll bring them back on. Wherever we're going to put them depends on what we do with the greeting. I can see that kind of coming like that and the greeting through the middle. That's kind of how my eye goes. So let's get a little scrap of the white. I did have my white scraps here. I've got a bit of a tower going, so I'm just going to move those off. Slide that one out. So the Christmas will go on there, and the Merry will go anywhere. So let's say, what should we do on here? I think I'll use the garden green. Tap, tap, tap. And put that down there. Oh, we need 2 of those, don't we? I'll do it on a separate piece because I might be using tails on the end. Okay, so that's 2 of those. And then 2 of these on little tiny scraps. Oh, I'm stamping it upside down, but that won't matter. 1 that end and 1 that end. There we go. I love the small little pieces like these. I call them little bricks because they're tiny little dies and they're really, really cute. So you can have the big focal point here and then have a little brick. So I will trim around that. Because it is so, so tiny, I will probably put my glasses down. Going to use a Christmas set you brought me for my birthday to make some Christmas cards. Oh, lovely. Well done, Linda. Okay, just trimming this down. My scissors are a little bit sticky, so bear with. as Miranda would say. While I was catching up on emails and doing some paperwork, I binge watched The Tower, series 1 and 2. I tend to do this. I see an episode when it comes on and think, oh, I need to see that. And then I catch up, but then I had to go back. So I watched series 2 before I saw series 1. Bit back to front, but hey, it all fitted together. So that was some good TV. While I was getting myself back into the time zone, seems to have taken me forever, but those of you who know me well will know that I don't lie in and I go to bed late. If I was in bed early and I slept in one morning till 9:30, and today I think I was fairly similar today, so I'm still kind of catching up a little bit, but I feel I'm virtually there. Okay, so then this piece is a case of, do I want it as a banner? Shall we see if those dies will fit? Let's talk about the Stylish Shapes dies. We have 2 banners in here. I don't think that's going to be long. No, it's not going to be long enough. But we can do that by hand. We can do that ourselves. It's not a problem. Layer those up. Little tiny trimmer. You're thinking about Christmas. Yes, it's that horrible word that we've now got to start thinking about. And in earnest, really, because it will sneak up on us. I know, it does it to me every single year. And I think, yeah, I'll be all right. Yeah, I'll be okay. I'll be fine. And then you're panicking at the last minute. I'm using the little lines on here to see where I want the lowest piece here on the cut line, and then straighten the rest up. So it's just over that line there. Okay. Then I'll match those up on the end. So a similar distance. So you can use the distance here to line up if you like. You can have that tail on either the left or the right of your dark line. Most trimmers will have a little place where you can, like this. I've seen a lot of trimmers like that. So just test it, see how you're getting on. Okay, so the C is the tallest piece this end. To make sure that we get that straight as we'd like to have it. Okay, we're going to go to the edge there. We've actually got 2 cards done tonight, which is really good, through having just a rough plan. But if you imagine, if you were going to do this, if you've got some Christmas papers, before you cut it into your 6-inch pieces to do this layout, I have a better layout for you, and I will do a good screenshot in daylight. I'm going to write it on here. My 12-inch layout, 12-inch by 12-inch layout, and on a 12-inch sheet you will be able to get 10 of these panels from one layout, all exactly the same size. Okay, so that is my tip for you tonight. It's one I use all the time. These were in 6-inch pieces because I'd split them up within the class. Get my glasses down, snip into the centre, and then slip into the centre again. If you have the banner punch, then obviously that makes your life a lot easier. Okay, I do this so much. I'm used to doing these banners into the centre from the corner, into the centre from the corner. There we go. Take those out, do the same onto the floor, then do the same at the end. This end looks bigger, maybe not. Okay, I'm just squeezing this to the tip. Unfortunately, these scissors are the ones that got used. I lent out to somebody once. I was at an event and they said, has anyone got any scissors? What I didn't realise was they were going to use them as a screwdriver, so they're slightly bent at the end. I try not to use them. And I've learnt never to lend out scissors unless I know what it's being used for, not as a screwdriver. Okay, how dare they? How very dare they? So that is just going to sit on there like so. You've got the Merry there. You can put the Merry wherever you like. You could put it over here. Pick it up in tweezers and then you don't get my big fingers in the way. going to say where we're going to put it. I like that one there. Okay, but we could have that one in the circle, over the edge of the circle. Have it here, next to the greeting. So it's entirely up to you. I'm going to put mine in there. I need the pads again. I'm going to use some of my bitty bits. Now, I've done these on bits and edges here. So you can see that I tidied them up the other day, and I ended up putting them all onto one piece. So by doing that, I'll get through them quicker. So, oh, I've lost me Mary. There's one Mary. Oh, there it is. It's flicked. It's that piece. Okay, so I'm going to just use a couple of these little tiny pieces on here. Okay, and peel the backing off while it's there. Take another one and put that on there while it's here. Okay, sticky tweezers. So I'm going to stick this one just coming off the end there, like so, nice and straight, and then a couple of big ones on here. One there and one there. So I go just in from the edges. You don't need to be excessive with them. Okay, they are ready, but now I know where I'm going to put it. Kind of need to anchor these down first. So if I have those kind of like crossing over in the middle, I'm just going to put a little bit on the bottom, tiny little bit sort of like up the main stem. I'm just stroking that over there like that. That's going to come that way, and this one exactly the same upside down, a little bit in the end, just stroke it up there and down there. Tiny bits are really, really handy, definitely. Yep, they all have a place, but I got so many, it was getting silly. I've not sponged the edges of this. I think there's enough colour on here. Okay, I'm going to just pop that over the edge there like so. I'm really loving that design, and I hope you guys do too. I will share these with the link for you, with the link to Karen. Karen's got a download tutorial, so you'll be able to click on that and take it and follow her. She's lovely. She was in Vegas as well. So I'm just going to stick these two down first. Sometimes when you're watching a video that you chose to use, sometimes you'll find it will just go on to something else afterwards. So that's kind of what happened to me. Whoops. Stay where you were. I put you there. There we go. And that one's coming off the top. Lovely cards. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Well, it's just an idea. I mean, she did these with the balloon papers, I think. But I wanted to use some festive tonight. This one we raised, so I will just anchor that down. And then this one's going to have the two little tiny pieces on there. And I'll tag mine in her thread if I can find where I can post a photo with it. And I'll just say that we used it tonight. And I'm sharing it with you. Just give credit where it's come from. Okay, so they're the two tiny bits. And they're going to come, because this is a darker colour, I'm going to put that in the middle. This one was quite busy, so that was my reasoning behind that. And also, this one is actually raised, so I'm going to whip that one off there. Okay, if you use your tweezers upside down, you can actually take that off. Because you remember I put it up on double layer. I'm going to put some Tombow this end. Because it's a double layer on here, I don't want to add any more layers to it for bulk. Okay, so flat on this end and raise that end. There we go. Now I'm sure that would like to have some gems on there. Upside down. And it is just going to be the clear ones tonight. Yeah, I've got clear ones on here. I find these little packets a lot easier than having the cellophane to try and fight with. Where would I like to put those? I think I'd like to just put some random little tiny ones, a couple on there and one on the corner of the sentiment. So won't see them in there, so I'm just going to put them randomly on the outside and then one randomly down the bottom here. Okay, so I hope you like those. And then quickly I'm going to show you my scrapbook pages, okay, if you're happy to hang on. So they're my two cards. Like I say, I will take a photo of them Absolutely loving those. So it's really, really lovely layout. So that's good. So I think some of you knew that I was doing a challenge, a scrapbook challenge. If I take the pad away, I don't need that now. Well, unfortunately, I thought today that I would have some me time crafting. This was one of the challenge. I think this might have been week 2 or 3. And we had to use certain products in here. So I'd just taken my niece to see Barbie. So, and the colours the bonus was to use these 3 colours, a pink, a turquoise and a white. And so I used some washi tape on here. I had some retired stars, which was ideal, just put we had to use stars, that's right. And then a mixed medium, which is, this is our dimensional, like a liquid pearl type decoration, and some retired papers. But that was last time's. So then this time I have some photos of Vegas to show you. So who's still on board with me now? These are not actually stuck down. I've got the first one here, the backstage. So I'm going to do these as a double layer, and I'm going to put the pink behind them. So we had to have I took photos of them, but sadly I missed the 4 o'clock cutoff just by a few minutes. And there was another lady as well, got stuck. So just uploading. So this time we had to use doily or vellum. We had to use 3 different papers, or at least 2 papers. So I've used 3 papers. I've torn my edges. I had to use some doodling. So a quick doodle, if you want to put doodle on a card or maybe we could do that on a card. I'll do that and show you. I draw a straight line. Sometimes I do it as a frame, and it's a straight line, perfectly straight edges. And then I scribble through the middle of them. That gives kind of like a wavy effect, but keeps you on track with a line to work to. So this was one that Natalie took of me by the pool. This was all the UK. If you can see this was all the UK leaders. And Kevin, who is one of the guys who, the direct sales chaps, who do our Monday night lives for the leaders. So 17 of us this time. There's 13 of us last time. So these are just printed off the computer. They're not actually stuck down yet, but that didn't matter for the purposes of what I was doing. And then this is the backstage logo up on the screens. So that was the first one. So I did backstage at the top there. Okay, but we had to have 2 different fonts. So I've got 2 different fonts on both pages. So that was taking my inspiration from the photo here. So I'm going to lay that one up there because they need to be finished and stuck down. And then this one here, they've all slid as well. Those of you I mentioned just now about the GIST group, the Global Inspiration Stamp Team, we will be out again next weekend. So these, like I say, they haven't been stuck down, so I've got bits everywhere. This one I tore as I cut it, so that star's going to fit over there because you can get away with murder, literally. So doesn't matter that it's torn because that could be a little faux pas, can be hidden. So then this one was the Las Vegas bit. Okay, so they will be all staggered. Some of our retired papers. So this is myself and Emma, and the name's escaping me. Not Yvonne, it's a Y. She's from Holland, and then Janie and Mary Kate. And this lady is new to me. I don't know this lady, but we all contribute to a tutorial share. So that is one group of ladies. And then down here, we have the Global Inspiration Stamp Team. So mostly you see our products that we're actually demonstrating to you, but this is all the girls that met up. So there were 7 of us. So still a few missing. This is my friend Darla and Maureen, who's in this group. Emma, who was from Scotland, she's my travelling companion. Darla got in 2 of them, and then this was Natalie, who was our chauffeur and roomie with me and Emma for the week that we were there. So that's just a little bit of inspiration from Vegas. And I thought you might like to see the layouts. I do want to go ahead with scrapbook pages, scrapbook classes. So that is something that you will be seeing come out very soon. I'm going to bring the camera back to me so you can see me. There we go. So the scrapbook classes, if you're interested, just tap me a little message and just say yes or no if you're interested, because then I can gear down the timings of when's appropriate to do them around those that are interested in coming along. Okay, but I have some ideas I need to type up, and yeah, I've got lots of notes I've scribbled. So yeah, gonna have some fun, and it's bringing your memories off the computer and actually down and onto album pages. So it will be, you bring your own photos. Obviously, I can't supply photos of people that you want to see, and we will take it from there. So that's coming up as well. I might have more news for you. The 6th is when the catalogue launches, the Christmas catalogue. So if there's, I've got a feeling there might be some more kits on the way, but we've not really been told. Might learn more tomorrow night. But hey, certainly by Tuesday we might know more. Okay, love the scrapbooking pages. They're great. Thank you. Oh, bless you. Thanks, Sue. Anyway, been fun this evening. I've loved the layout. I will share Karen's link, and you can go along and print the tutorial off from her, so directly. Okay, so take care. You've seen how I do it anyway, so you kind of know how to do it. You can watch the video back on replay. Okay, so take care, and we've just coming up to the hour tonight, look, but it was worth it. There were some nice things in there. Okay.